Welcome to the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. I'm Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan, getting ready. Shanny, heavyweight tilt tonight, folks. All right, battle for the East, top spot, as well as the best record in the National Lacrosse League, the 5-1 Georgia Swarm, up against the 4-1 Toronto Rock. Now, it's also interesting because you have the top offense in Georgia against the best defense in Toronto.
Yeah, Georgia really came out of the gate flying this year, like scoring a huge amount of goals, and they've got some great offensive firepower. But Toronto, on the other hand, got the best goals against. They've been getting an outstanding season out of Nick Rose. So only about eight goals against per game, the Toronto Rock is, and Georgia's scoring 15 goals for each game.
But they're giving up a lot, too.
Exactly. So the key is who's going to prevail today, whether it's going to be the high-powered offense on Georgia or the shutdown defense of the Toronto Rock. And even though we say that Toronto's won with the defense, and part of the reason Toronto's done so well this year is their transition game. They've really run the ball well, and that's what Georgia tries to do too. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this one.
And for Nick Rose, you mentioned how well he's been playing. It's his bobblehead night, so they got a little special night for Nick Rose. But he is so far ahead of anybody. He's the only goaltender with single-digit goals against average. He's also top in save percentage. So you couple that with, as you mentioned, the transition game being so well, the defense has picked it up, and the emergence of the American experiment in Tom Schreiber and Kieran McArdle, especially Schreiber. Like, Shanny, nobody saw him leading the team.
No, we're even beyond talking about what a great rookie season he's having.
Yeah.
He is the offensive leader on Toronto right now. He's got the most points for the Toronto Rock. So, it got off, it was looking good to start with, but of late, it's becoming normal for 5 or 6 points a game. Of course, he had 10 points a couple of games ago against Buffalo, but then he followed that up last week with 3 and 3 in an outstanding. I think it was 11-4 was the final, or sorry, 11-7 was a victory in Calgary. So this guy has become probably their number one weapon on offense. Tom Schreiber is playing great, and you said it, Nick Rose is having his best season so far in the NLL. We might have said he had a bit of a weak game against Rochester a few weeks ago in their only loss, but even then he wasn't bad. He might have let in a couple of soft goals.
He still didn't allow 10.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's a bad game.
So the offense really wasn't going that game, but he has been their MVP this season as far as I'm concerned, and Schreiber's right behind him.
And when it comes to special teams, I think this could be a real key to the game because you have the Georgia Swarm, third-ranked power play, Toronto Rock, dead last. And then in penalty kill, you got 1-2 Swarm and the Rock.
Yeah, I'm still surprised at how poorly the Toronto Rock's power play is statistically. They're down around 30%. It's still relatively early in the season, but it's we're getting in there. So yeah, they have not had the big nights of those 7 for 8 power play nights. I don't think either team want to take penalties. I don't think Georgia wants to risk this being the night that Toronto breaks out in the power play. And there's no way that the Toronto Rock wants to take penalties against Georgia with all the weapons they have on this team. With the Thompsons and Matisse and Shane Jackson. They've got all kinds of offensive weapons.
This is the perfect example of a night, especially with the Swarm, where no lead is safe. Like these guys, as you mentioned, they can score in bunches. They put up close to 20 goals almost every game.
And it's funny, like last week I was watching their game. I was trying to watch 2 games at a time on NLL TV, and I was going back and forth between their game and the Rochester-Saskatchewan game. I think I turned away from the Georgia-New England game when New England had scored 4 or 5 in a row to take a 2-goal lead with about 4 minutes to go.
So you think,
I thought, okay, this one's over. I'm going to check out the other one. As soon as I flipped back, Georgia had scored 4 in a row on their own, including 3 by the veteran Jordan Hall, another offensive weapon on this team, and they won the game. So it was a game of runs, 4 and 5 goal runs by each team. Georgia had the last one, and that's the thing about this team. And I don't know if Toronto's played a team as explosive as Georgia yet this year. And even Saskatchewan, as great as they're not known as a hugely explosive team. It's their stifling defense and great transition. But Georgia has the weapons to score 4 or 5 goals, through any couple of minutes of play.
And for the Rock, scratches tonight. Casey Bierns out with a lower body injury for at least this weekend. Phil Caputo was activated, but is now scratched, and looks like Mikey McDonald's going to get a shot. Yeah,
it looks like we just got the lineup. It looks like they're putting Mikey McDonald back in. They sat him out last week, and they're hoping he can rebound with a strong game. I think they did the same with Kieran McArdle. A few weeks ago, they sat him out a game, and he came back with a strong game for Toronto with, I think it was 2-1 last week. So Mikey McDonald's been relatively quiet after having a great exhibition series and getting off to a good start to the season, so I think they'd like to see him come back strong. So Philip Caputo, though, he'll get his chance. We saw he played against Saskatchewan, because of all the injuries and that, and he had a strong game.
He looked good.
So he'll get in eventually.
And for the Swarm, Randy Stotts is out. Sean Young also a scratch.
Yeah, losing Stotts is huge. He was the Rookie of the Year last year, 94 points. This guy is a scoring machine like so many other names we mentioned on this team. So they will miss him, a big, strong righty who's just got such a fluid, natural shot. So they will miss him. We'll see what happens with him out of the lineup.
Shannon, before we take the break and then come back for the opening faceoff in a few minutes here at the Air Canada Centre, to me, one of the keys for Toronto is to try to keep this as low scoring as possible, because although they do have some offensive weapons, if you get into a shootout with the Swarm, I just don't think you can keep up.
No, I absolutely agree with you. Toronto does not want to play a back and forth game score. Toronto wants to control this. They want to play the defensive game, and that's been their style this year. And if you want to open it up against anyone, it's not the Georgia Swarm.
No. So we're going to see the best offense versus the top defense. Swarm and Rock coming up at 7:30 here on NLL TV. We'll be back.
Down the pass, taking his back shot, and stone cold by Rose. And the break, Rose, stone to pole. With the swift, how did that happen? How did Nick Rose do that? It's scored! And a fist bump, Dan Linder. Hunt, picking up South Larry. Scores!
And now it's time to get on your feet and make it loud for your Toronto Rock. Starting with the goalies, number 39, Steve Fryer. Number 66, Rosie Nick Rose. Number 4, Jesse Gamble. Number 5, Sandy Chapman. Number 6, Kieran McCardle. How about number 8, Mikey McDonald. Number 11, Brett Hickey. Number 15, Turner Evans. Number 17, Stefan LeBlanc. Number 20, Bradley Cree. Number 23, Challen Rogers. Number 26, Tom Schreiber. The captain, number 37, Brody Merrill. Number 41, Dan Lintner. Number 44, Jeff Gilbert. Number 45, Damon Edwards. Number 82, Jordan Magnuson. Number 91, Billy Hostrauser. And number 93, Latrell Harris. The Rock are coached by Matt Sawyer, assisted by Blaine Manning, Bruce Codd, and Patty Campbell. Fans, at this time, please welcome tonight's opponents, the Georgia Swarm. Here are your officials for tonight's game. The crew chief is Todd LeBranch. The assistant referees are Mark Gardonio and Ty Wilkinson. And the shot clock operator is Ryan Wilson.
Okay, fans, right now we're going to ask you to please rise and remove your hats and welcome recording artist, actor, and former Army Reserve officer, and the Rock's very own Scotty Newlands for the singing of our national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in it, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Hey fans, in celebration of the Right to Play weekend and the ongoing partnership between the NLL and the Lacrosse for Development program, we're excited to welcome groups from our Four Directions Aboriginal Student Center at Queen's University and Walpole Island First Nation. Right to Play's Lacrosse for Development program partners with Indigenous communities to build life skills through the sport of lacrosse. Every year, NLL players support youth in the programs by being positive role models and sharing their love for the game. Joining us for the ceremonial ball drop tonight, we have Right to Play community mentors Melissa Franks and Josie Sunday from Four Directions Aboriginal Student Center, Shauna Smith from Walpole Island First Nation, along with some youth members from the programs and the Right to Play staff.
Welcome to the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Oh, we got a good one for you tonight, folks. Top spot in the East Division on the line and the best record in all of the National Lacrosse League here tonight as the Georgia Swarm face off against the Toronto Rock. The Swarm 5-1, the Rock 4-1. And Shandy, we talked about it a little bit on the pregame show here on NLLTV.com that with these two clubs, both can score. The difference is going to come down to special teams and goaltending.
Yeah, you may be right. Especially Georgia, when you talk about teams that can score, averaging 15 goals a game, but the Toronto has shown that they could light it up at any given time as well. But definitely the strength of Toronto really this year has been their defensive game and their goaltending, which, allowing just over 8 goals against per game, which is phenomenal.
Now you can follow along on Twitter at AndyMC81, at SBD Shanny, and of course the league at NLL. Use the game hashtag GEOVSTOR, so Geo versus Tor, to follow along here. Shanny, it's the unstoppable force against the immovable object here. It's a flashback to some great matchups, perhaps, we hope, like Ali Frazier, Hogan Andre the Giant. These two clubs, man, I'm telling you, the firepower, the Thompson brothers, is exceptional. Now, scratches for tonight, you have Casey Byrnes out for the Rock, and you have Randy Stotts gone for the Swarm. So you're missing a little something there, but certainly they can fill in the gaps.
Yeah, two big guys out for both teams, although Georgia's putting in Johnny Paulus is stepping in. 35-goal score from last year.
Right.
This will be his first game of the season. He had some concussion issues late in the summer and is just getting ready to play now.
That could be a real X factor tonight because Paulus, as you mentioned, his stats there, but he's an old 23. Like, he's played a lot of lacrosse at a high level. He's underway.
Won 3 championships
already with the Rochester Nighthawks. Here we go. Georgia Swarm, odd man rush. Pass on the crease, stoned by Rose on his bobblehead night. Georgia Swarm in their yellow and blue uniforms, Rock blue, red, and white. First test there. Rose came out on top. Swarm buzzing around. Open shot there. Wide look for Nick Rose. Easy save. Kick back, but the Swarm recover. And this is what the Rock have to be careful of, Shanny. You don't want to allow second and third opportunities. Sidearm whip. Toe stop by Rose. Rock tried to come up with it. Jesse Gamble kind of knuckled on him. Swatted away. Loose in the neutral zone.
Well, so far, Georgia's been relentless getting that ball back. Toronto actually won the opening face-off and turned it over quickly. They just turned it over on their next possession here.
And Toronto has been dominant with Bradley Cree in the face-off circle this season. But Rose again, high and wide. Georgia testing early and often here. Rock haven't even had it in Georgia's zone yet. Again, low weights, scores! And it only seemed like a matter of time. Miles Thompson sneaks it by Nick Rose as the Toronto defense was just flying all over the place.
Well, already the Thompson brothers are a factor here. Lyle Thompson goes to the net hard. When 3 guys come on him, he dishes it to his brother, who's got all kinds of time to reach around Nick Rose.
You have Lyle, who is 4th in the NLL in scoring. And that's the problem with this Swarm team if you're their opposition. You have all 3 Thompsons can score. Jordan Hall's in there. Shane Jackson, don't forget about him. And Johnny Paulus, you throw him into the mix.
Yeah, and the Thompson brothers are, probably the most creative brothers in lacrosse since the Gates played. Right,
yeah. They obviously have had lots of time to play with one another. No and can anticipate each other's moves. So 1-0 for the Swarm, and they're right back in Toronto territory here.
Toronto has not had the ball over center yet.
No. Jerome Thompson got rid of it. Screen shot over the top. Kind of looked for like a little pick. And it went Toronto's way here. There's Brody Merrill, the captain. He's on the left wing, putting his shoulder down, and Toronto will try to get their offense on the floor here. Brody Merrill going for a run around to allow his teammates to get on. Crisp pass to Hickey. Hickey on that left side. Swarm defense very good at limiting penetration, so the Rock might have to test Mike Poulin from the outside. He was pulled in the last game. 2 seconds left to shoot, and they just cannot get. That was smothering Shanny.
Very good defense by Georgia. We spoke to coach Eddie Como before the game, and he felt that their defense has a few things to fix over the last few weeks. They obviously weren't at their best last week. They won 17-15. He was happy about the 17, wasn't happy about the 15 against.
Jerome Thompson. Keep an eye on Shane Jackson. Do sidearm through a screen. Rose with the save. There's Cree. And the Swarm. Absolutely relentless. And now the Rock over center. Jesse Gamble getting cross-checked. And there's Tom Schreiber. Leads the team in his first NLL season in scoring. 29 points. Oh, and that was off the crossbar. Saved by Steele. Wow. He had Poulin beaten. That, Shanny, I think might be the way for Toronto. See if you can get a couple by Poulin from far out where he has been vulnerable.
Well, we spoke to Blaine Manning, offensive coach for Toronto. That's one of the things he said he wanted to see. Some outside shots.
18 to shoot. There's Schreiber inside the line. Oh, ball knocked away as he was trying to drop it for Hickey. Picks it back up, though. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Schreiber, nice swim move there. Schreiber on the left side. Schreiber, and a one-touch on the crease. Scores! Schreiber! What a setup! Made something out of nothing, and Littner all alone on the doorstep, and he buries it.
You said it. He made something out of nothing. Just a few seconds left of the shot clock. 3 guys forming a wall, not letting him go to the crease. But he still managed to find Littner on a beautiful backhand pass.
Littner snuck in behind Rannigan there.
Schreiber is just continuing to impress a lot of people.
His 21st assist of the season. And Bradley Cree wins the faceoff from Lyle Thompson. There's Jesse Gamble in the neutral zone. And Toronto, I don't think their offense is going to have a lot of time to hold on to any sort of possession. Rick Rose headed to the bench. A penalty coming to the Georgia Swarm. This might help ease things for... Whoa, and that went off of Poulin, in behind him and off the right post. The second time the Toronto player beat the Swarm on a post shot. Let's see what the penalty is.
2 minutes.
Too many men.
The Toronto power play worst in the NLL right now at 33%. They'd like to bring that number up a bit.
Georgia's penalty kill is the
Georgia
best.
penalty, a bench minor for 2 minutes.
Being successful in stopping 57.14% of the time. Right along that crease. Pinching in. Waiting. Schreiber receives. Clicks with Hickey. Hickey went on the near side. Poulin was right there. Littner could not get the rebound. And the Rock have a fresh 30 here. Minute 30 left on the clock. To the weak side. Schreiber takes it. Playing catch with Hickey. Now to the right. Waits, and well wide. Got it right there. Oh, and Littner very close. The rebound off the backboard went right into Littner's stick, and Poulin was able to scurry over.
Yeah, Littner was very close to squeezing that in. In fact, I thought it did get behind Poulin, but it obviously didn't go in the net.
Now Georgia will try to kill some time here. Under a minute left on the too many men penalty. Connor Sellers, the in-home man, serving that penalty in the box. Sidearm hurl, stopped. And there's Magnuson. Jogs across center. Busy weekend around the NLL. 7 games in all. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Also tonight on NLL TV, New England at Buffalo underway right now. So we have the 2 top teams in the East and the 2 bottom teams in the East squaring off. So 28 on the power play, stopped by Poulin. And Poulin, line drive outlet pass, finds his man, rumbles over center. Now the Swarm still 10 seconds left. And they'll just wait. Captain Jordan McIntosh, nice save there by Rose. So we're back to even strength, and Toronto is actually overtaken in the shot category 7. Well, now it's tied at 7. Well, they went the first couple minutes here with nothing as Georgia came out of the gate red hot. There's Stefan LeBlanc, who's really benefited from Tom Schreiber opening things up. There's Schreiber, who he connects with. Stutter step by Schreiber. To the right side, scores! With a bullet! The American experiment connects! Schreiber to McArdle.
Well, I tell you, McArdle sat out a couple of games ago, came back last week, had a couple of goals, and if he keeps shooting like this, they're going to have a hard time shooting him out again. That was him who took that early outside shot that went off the post, and this one found the top corner on an underhand.
Talking with Kieran McArdle and Tom Schreiber this week, Shanny, and these guys travel from New York together to practice. When they're on the road, they room together. When they're up here, they stay in the same hotel, so they know each other very well, having not known each other prior to this season, even though they are both Americans and playing the MLL. And with that, we will take the break. 2-1 Rock lead on the Georgia Swarm. 8:12 left in the first quarter. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Missed the action in the NLL last weekend? Maybe you want a little analysis. Leah Gordon and Tyson Geik break things down twice a week in the NLL's flagship show, The Boss. Catch all of the highlights, scores, and exclusive interviews in both our pre- and post-game episodes every week on NLLTV.com.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
He's got Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Back underway here at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. 2-1 Rock up on the Georgia Swarm. 8 minutes even to go in the first quarter. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. The Rock. And a nice save there on Nick Rowe's bobblehead night. Withstood a absolute buzzsaw of a Georgia offense for the first 2 minutes. Only giving up 1 goal there. And now we're up by 2. Or we're up by 1, 2-1. Nice crowd here at the ACC on a Friday. Schreiber receives. Tom Schreiber has been in on both goals tonight. An assist and a sidearm. Oh, and Poulin had to look behind him. Brett Hickey was looking for his team-leading 13th goal. And, Shanny, this is what we were talking about. If you get into a shootout, and there's still plenty of time for that, with the Georgia Swarm, there's just too much firepower to keep up.
No, you're absolutely right. You want to take a page out of Colorado, and they did a couple weeks ago. They actually just shut this team down for the most part.
And Johnny Powless making his first start of the season after dealing with concussion issues. Number 93 on the floor. And he learned and played with some of the best. Shanny, as you mentioned before, 3 championships. Not a bad guy to learn from. Cody Jamieson as well previously. So now finds himself in Georgia. And that's a big boost to this team that is already so dangerous.
Yeah, Johnny Powless was actually in the running for Canadian Athlete of the Year a couple of years ago. He won a Minto Cup in his last year of junior, was the MVP in the Minto Cup as Canadian Junior A Championship, was the MVP in that. After he'd already won 3 championships in the NLL. He started playing the NLL at 18 years old.
Right, and he would go back and play junior. Unnecessary roughness call on Johnny Powless, so he'll have a seat. Stefan LeBlanc, that pass too high, just out of his reach. And Casey Bierns out with a lower body injury. He will not play at all this weekend, so he missed that one-touch shot that Bierns is so good at. Chad Tutton back the other way. Tutton hopped over the crease, keeps possession. Tutton putting his shoulder down and almost scored.
Nice effort, just manages to stay out of the crease.
Someone we were told to keep an eye on by head coach Ed Como for the Georgia Swarm was Brian Cole, and Blaine Manning mentioned him as well as a dangerous guy on transition. The Swarm now, keeping at the outside for the moment anyway. Jerome Thompson, little dump pass, drew the defense in brilliantly off the post, and this time it's Toronto's turn to be saved. What a great job drawing in 3 Toronto defenders and left them wide open.
And this is a team that scored 5 short-handed goals.
Yeah.
Lyle Thompson's been the most dangerous. He's got 3 short-handed goals.
Toronto back on their power play. Schreiber around that crease line, back to the point, to the right. Waits, and that's Evans. Evans second in points for Toronto.
Oh, another penalty.
Ooh.
Another penalty to Georgia and a slash. I didn't see it. It was at the side of the play, but it was Lintner went down.
Well, this will certainly test their league best power play, or rather penalty kill. Yeah.
Georgia penalty number 37. 5 minutes. Slash.
5 minutes.
I heard that.
5 minutes. All right. Well, the Rock will have every opportunity to better their NLL worst power play, and you see that right in the corner.
Was that Ethan O'Connor?
It went high.
It was.
Yes, I believe so. Yes. So it will be 5 on 3 for 20 seconds. And I'm sure that will be not looked fondly upon by Ed Como. And went for the one touch right across the crease line. Unable to connect with Brett Hickey. 6 seconds, and Brody Merrill's able to keep it in. That is a huge possession loose ball there for Brody Merrill. Keeping it in Georgia territory. Kick back just inside the line to Schreiber. Okay, now Powless is on, and he goes right. He goes right for Turner Evans. Under 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 4-13 on the power play for Toronto. Now just a one-man advantage. Blind pass. Hickey, and that went off of Mike Poulin and into the crowd on the near side. With that, we will step aside. The Rock lead Georgia 2-1 and will be on the power play for 4 minutes and 10 seconds. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. Action back underway here at the ACC in Toronto. The Rock lead the Swarm 2-1 and on a power play for another 4:03 on a major to Ethan O'Connor. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan with you. Schreiber, blind pass, scores on a skipper. Schreiber with another assist. He's been in on all 3 Toronto goals. And Turner Evans with the goal on the power play.
You know, and it looked like Toronto was looking for the perfect shot on this power play, a little bit to their detriment, but they found it here. As Schreiber puts it from side to side, that's so tough for a goalie to come out and stop that because he's got to respect Schreiber's ability to shoot.
Yep. And that's right, Shannon. We saw we know how good of a setup man he is, but in that Rochester game, he really evolved right before our eyes into a goal scorer as well in the NLL, and so you have to not take him for granted that he's just going to dish it because he can burn you there too.
Very nice shot by Evans, but going between the legs instead of just putting it in the belly pad as Poulin was coming over.
Just over 4 minutes left in the first quarter, so Toronto up 3-1, and Georgia, who came out so ferociously, have had to tone it back because of penalty trouble. And there's Shane Jackson. Jackson, shorthanded, count it. Shane Jackson. He put his shoulder down like a linebacker on a pass rush, and he gets it by Rose.
He just powered his way to the net. That's exactly what he did. A defensive coaches will absolutely hate this, but really just
beat 2 men.
He just muscled his way. The Rock looked like they took it for granted that his angle was too bad, but he was able to reach over quite a bit.
And with all the star power and goal-scoring ability on this Georgia club, Shane Jackson almost gets a little bit lost in the mix.
Yeah,
he's a fantastic goal
scorer.
He's
a very dangerous shooter.
15th of the season. Edwards uses some hops and corrals that outlet pass by Rose. So 3-2 the score, and because it's a major, Toronto, even when they scored on the power play, remained with the man advantage. So a shorthanded goal.
Yeah, they've got just under 3 minutes to work with, so all kinds of time.
That's Georgia's 7th shorthanded goal, and Toronto gets another one with the man advantage, and it's 4-2. And that is Kieran McArdle, his 2nd of the night.
You know, and I think Toronto's got, especially on the power play, just take some shots, especially from up top. You know, when you move it side to side, you know, you got to shoot it while the goalie's moving. But up top is probably the only place where you've got a pretty decent shot at putting it in if you've got a great outside shot. And I think McArdle's demonstrating that he has a pretty good outside shot.
And he might have taken a little bit longer to get comfortable with the indoor game, which is still so impressive, Shanny, than Tom Schreiber. But we're seeing in this game and going back to last week, after sitting out that one game, getting a bird's eye view, as they put it. And now the Swarm coming right back, gobbled up that rebound, did Gilbert. He is getting some confidence. And that's a nasty shot he's got.
No, he's got an excellent outside shot. And those were the names that Blaine Manning mentioned for the outside shots. He said he'd like to see, you know, Schreiber, McArdle, and, of course, Brett Hickey. They're their big outside threats.
Turner Evans draws it in. Schreiber scores! Captain America! 5-2 Toronto.
And that's 5 points for Schreiber.
Wow.
We continue to talk about, and why not? He just keeps doing it. 5 points on 5 goals for the Toronto Rock.
Toronto have scored now 3 times on the power play, a third of their total power play output.
I don't think that was a power play. I think the power play was over.
Oh, was that over? Okay. Oh, we have a Swarm player down as well.
Yeah, on the major penalty, you get to score twice. Now, O'Connor won't get out of the box, but his team will no longer be shorthanded.
Connor Sellers limping to the bench there for Georgia. So you're right there, Shandy. So that was 2 power play goals total on the night for Toronto, and Schreiber, a goal and 4 assists. Wow. Georgia now. See what they can do at even strength. Their special teams has been worn out on the defensive side.
Well, really, their offense hasn't had a chance to get on the floor in a while.
Outside of that first 2 minutes where they didn't allow Toronto onto their own end.
Well, that's some good defense.
Gang tackled there. Wow. And Toronto back the other way, sprinting down the right wing. Just over 2 minutes left in the opening quarter. Brody Merrill dishes to McArdle. Finds Schreiber. Schreiber on the left wing has Brett Hickey. Schreiber stutter step. And they're liking that outside shot. Spins away. 7 to shoot. Kicks it back to the line. Stephen LeBlanc now. LeBlanc with a little dump pass. Over the top hurl, and Poulin saves.
Now, Poulin was actually pulled in the game last week in their victory when they were down 6-2.
Right.
And we asked Eddie Como if he considered, if there's any consideration of not dressing him, and he said there was no hesitation.
To go back. He played so well earlier in the year. Just a tough stretch here. 2-on-1. There's Cree. And stoned by Poulin. Bradley Cree on the break. And see if this energizes the Swarm here, Shanny.
Well, that was a big save, and they needed that.
Shane Jackson.
Oh, penalty for Toronto.
With possession, who had the short end to go. Whoa, and Johnny Paulus getting in. You can tell he's missed playing. He's all over the place.
Penalty number 37, 2 minutes, check from behind.
Brody Merrill with a check from behind.
This is probably what Georgia needs right now. As we said a few minutes ago, they really haven't had their offense on the floor for a long while.
Third-ranked power play for Georgia in the NLL, operating at a 58.82% efficiency. Toronto has the second best penalty kill behind Georgia. And that laser was wide. Back down the other way, over and back. 42.8 seconds left in the first, 5-2 Toronto.
Yeah, that'll allow Toronto to kill most of this period.
Play blown in. They have Mikey McDonald on the floor as well. College teammates with Tom Schreiber. Schreiber is saying Mikey made him quite comfortable and gave him that little bit of that home feel when he first arrived to the Rock. Hickey on the left in the neutral zone. He's trying to eat things up. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Now Hickey trying to make a move and pulls it back. Jordan McIntosh, the captain, on him. He'll just whip it into the corner. 10 seconds left. Time for one last drive in the first for Georgia. 7 seconds. Down to the court, and caught Rose sliding over.
Whoa.
Whoa, and Toronto tried to push the net back. Rose got over in time, Shanny, but didn't pull his pads together.
And you can bet that Coach Como would probably want to see the replay of that to decide whether he should be throwing a flag or not.
Really, really close, and Sandy Chapman gave the net a little nudge just to maybe try to help out.
Well, if you push the net back, it doesn't look like it goes in.
No, exactly. Right to Play believes in the transformative power of play to engage and empower children and youth around the world. In Canada, the Promoting Life Skills and Aboriginal Youth Play program, with over 85 Indigenous communities to support leadership, development, and positive outcomes for Indigenous young people. To learn more or make a donation, visit righttoplay.ca. After one quarter of play, the Toronto Rock up on the Georgia Swarm 5-2. We'll be back. You're watching the National Lacrosse League here on NLL TV.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost count countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Second quarter underway here at the Air Canada Centre. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan with you. Rock up on the Swarm 5-2. First place in the East and best record in the NLL on the line. Rock have scored a couple on the power play and are now trying to withstand a minor to Brody Merrill. Rock with possession right now in their home blue, red, and white uniforms. Poulin with a nice shot to stop a shorthanded opportunity. The Swarm in their sharp yellow and hive blue unis. Shot 16-14 in favor of Toronto. Get in on the conversation on Twitter using hashtag GeoVSTour. Geo versus Tor. And on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, and at SBD Shanny. Now the Swarm cycling that ball. Scores! Wow! Too much talent to leave anybody alone, and that's why you have to stay out of the box.
Oh, really nice fake by Jordan Hall. And what a great pickup he's been. They made a trade for him with New England in the offseason, and it's been fantastic. Watch, fakes the shot.
Oh. Gorgeous.
Rose comes out to stop it, and he's got like an empty net when he steps around him. Just a veteran move.
Yeah. And that's what with this Swarm organization, Shane, they have a great blend of youth and veteran leadership, really kind of being able to have the now but also plan for the future.
Yeah, I believe he's the oldest guy in the team. Jordan Hall, 32 years old.
Yeah. They've been
and
very good.
I don't know if anyone thought he was done, but it's certainly not the case, man.
No, very good for a very long time. Overcame a
fact,
serious knee injury a couple years ago.
Yep.
Or more than that, I guess.
Now, New England did get a boatload of draft choices for him, but in the short term, this has been a trade that's worked so well for Georgia.
Back to even strength now. Now Schreiber was denied, trying to penetrate in, and the Rock have had success shooting from the outside, which, as you said, Shannon, when we were chatting with Rock assistant coach Blaine Manning, was one of the things they had to try to do. They certainly have the horses to do it. There's Jerome Thompson. That offering was wide, but picked up by Georgia. 6 on the shot clock. And for the screen, bobbled it. Miles Thompson down to a knee in the neutral zone. Picked up, well, by nobody yet. Merrill and Hostrauser both swung at it.
They still got a 2-on-1.
Merrill. And Merrill, the captain. Shoulder stopped by Poulin. The Poulin wall. And Georgia now coming back the other way. You have Ethan O'Connor. Just over 2 minutes have gone by in this second quarter. Lyle Thompson, fourth in the NLL in scoring. And down into the butterfly. Huge save by Rose. Toronto back the other way. There's Edwards, went 5-hole, and Poulin now. And he's bowled over by his own teammate.
Couple of big saves, both ends of the floor.
Goaltenders putting on a show. Lyle Thompson to the left, tiptoeing along that crease, and pushed out of the way, unable to plant that foot.
That was such a nice play, Thompson finding his brother Miles.
And there's Bradley Cree.
How many times have the Thompson brothers done that in their backyard? You got to wonder.
Exactly. That's why they're so dangerous. They know what each other's thinking. Stephen LeBlanc did not know what Schreiber was thinking on that particular play. And Georgia coming back down the floor. Full sprint now. Connor Sellers there. Intended receiver off the tip of his stick. Swarm able to get it back, though. There's Matisse. Backpedaling. Clicks on the right side, playing catch.
The big man, Matisse, 6'5", 215.
Oh. And went with that three-quarter shot. Rose got down for it. Scooped it right back to Monetize, and they have a fresh 30. Georgia pressing here. So dangerous 5-on-5. Miles Thompson to the right wing. And he'll head off. Yeah, Monetize at the point. And Jordan Hall pressing back. Monetize couldn't field that grounder. Swats it towards his own bench. And there's Lyle Thompson. The one hand. He's not getting by it. Whoa, now he does. And into the belly of Rose as the shot clock hit 0. Great defense there by Challen Rogers.
Good defense. No, absolutely. You know, Toronto knew that most of the Georgia players had gone off the floor to get their defense on so they could double team Thompson. He still got a shot on that, though.
Rogers using that huge 6'4", 220-pound frame to make sure Thompson wasn't doing anything. And Poulin down hard. And that's where this team, this Toronto team on the defense has gotten better, younger, and bigger. That was part of the problem last couple years, Shanny. They were getting older and a little bit too small. They've certainly taken care of that. Wow! Overhand hurl by Shane Jackson, and it went off the post. So each team has been saved by steal at least twice. Lyle Thompson got rid of it to the right wing. On to Rose, and they're trying the outside shot. Now the Rock back the other way. There's Magnuson. Magnuson with a 3-on-2. Edwards tries to clear some lanes, and a crossbar. Ball sails into the Reds here at the Air Canada Centre. And we'll step aside for just a moment. 9:55 left in the first half. Rock lead the Swarm 5-3. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Don't miss your chance to see all the action live this season on NLLTV.com. Sign up for the NLL Pass to watch all the games or your favorite team. Plus, you get exclusive content, highlights, interviews, and more. Back to the Air Canada Centre here in Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Under 10 minutes to play in the first half. What a game we have for first place in the East. 5-3, Rock leading the Swarm. Join the conversation on Twitter using hashtag GA versus Tor, VA or GA versus Tor, and on Twitter at NLL, at AndyMC81, and at SBD Shanny. Rock with possession here, going from left to right on your screen. They'll start off this drive. The two new American players have done most of the offense tonight. Kieran McCarter with 2 goals, and Tom Schreiber with 5 points. And swinging around was Poulin. Wow, that was close.
And Mike Poulin's really settled down since the last goal about 9 minutes ago by Schreiber.
Yeah, they were pressing on the outside shots, but you're right, Shanny, he has settled down. And that ball bounced straight up just in front of the crease, a little bit of a break. Miles Thompson inside, went through a screen, Rose on his bobblehead night with a quick scoop. And Brody Merrill on the outlet pass, stoned by the Poulin wall. Merrill picks it right back up, though.
I was just a great effort for Merrill to run up and catch that ball.
He was being tied up and was able to still get free.
You know, you're almost going with the odds, and you know how good he is at loose balls. You throw that ball ahead for him and give him a race.
Being 6'4", 205 helps too to shake off any defender. There's Turner Evans, right wing, backpedaling. And Mikey McDonald denied by the post. That's at least the fourth, maybe the fifth time.
Well, Poulin's played well, but yes, he's also had a little help from the post.
Yes. Well, Mikey McDonald denied. There's Shane Jackson. He scored a beautiful goal earlier. Latrell Harris on him. It's a youngster at the Rock. Really likes Shanny and Latrell Harris.
Scored his first NLL goal last week in Calgary, and it was a beauty. A one-handed dunk.
Crease violation called by the officials on the Swarm, so Toronto coming back the other way here. Jesse Gamble with the toss, heads to the bench. Here's McCardle. Right side. Boy, that was a quick release.
Quick release, but Poulin was out so far, that was going nowhere.
There's John Rannigan.
You know, goalies can come out and play so aggressively, take away the angle when they know their defenders aren't giving any other openings.
Right.
And Poulin's been doing that of late, so is Nick Rose.
Whoa! And that might want to be challenged, Shanny. I don't know. That bounced off the crossbar, but I thought that might have touched the mesh. Maybe not.
Yeah, there's been a few shots on that net down there that have looked like they've touched mesh.
There's Thompson to Jackson. Thompson receives, went near side behind Brody Merrill. He gobbled up that loose ball. Snap pass connects. There's Damon Edwards in full stride. Edwards with a fake shot. He was hacked as he went for the shot. Mitch Bilal got in his way and kind of shoved him, unable to get one away cleanly.
Getting a little transition going in this game now.
Connor Sellers, and now it's Cree's turn to break up a scoring opportunity.
Yeah, it's turning into a track meet.
Both these clubs back and forth. The goaltender's stepping up. Transition now. Shots 26-22 in favor of the home team.
And Toronto just settled it. Toronto had a 3-on-2 going there, and one of the players went to the bench to settle it.
There's LeBlanc. LeBlanc stopped on a dime, turned back, went far side corner off the mark. Brett Hickey will grab it. And Schreiber was pushed there a little bit by, I believe, Tutton or Noble, and that ball will go to Georgia. Swarm pressing, trying to make it a one-goal game. Sandy Chapman, the veteran, all over him, running out of real estate, and Nick Rose hugging that post. Shane Jackson, who had a shorthanded goal tonight, was denied. Rock coming back the other way. Billy Hostrauss is a tough guy, gets rid of the ball. Kieran McCardle and the Toronto Rock will be going on the power play as Nick Rose races to the bench, extra attacker on. Turner Evans outside the line. Turner Evans. Left side, and Poulin. That got caught up in the jersey, on the glove side of the jersey, and Poulin, again, did not quite know where it was, but he got enough of it.
Oh, he didn't know where it was, but he got enough body in there.
Georgia penalty, 2 minutes. Illegal substitution.
Illegal substitution for the Georgia Swarm. So the second bench penalty at too many men, and now an illegal substitution. So Connor Sellers will be the in-home guy, will find himself back on the bench.
Toronto's 2 for 3 on the power play.
And this is where Toronto was able to settle down the game after Georgia was out so hot, so ferocious earlier. Toronto creeping in, full of confidence. Another post! Another post! And that ball sailed way up into the golds behind the Toronto bench.
Well, they've had success beating Poulin from that spot, but as you said, they keep finding the post.
Stephen LeBlanc on the floor. He receives. Down underneath, LeBlanc trying to clear some space. Over to the right side to Schreiber. Picked up his own rebound. Well, for a moment he did. Chad Tutton on him. And the Rock were able to get the ball back. LeBlanc back to the point to Hickey. Count it. Stephen LeBlanc, and then Hickey lowered that shoulder. And underhand, the cannon. And they get 6-3.
Hickey was going to find the net sooner or later. They'd moved him off the shooter spot and put him on the point. Schreiber had played up there earlier, so has McCardle. All three of them great outside shots. And you know what Poulin has done so great? He's taken away the side shots from the shooter. He manages to anticipate those passes, and he gets over. He hasn't done so well with the shots from right up top.
A nice skip shot like a rock across the pond. His 13th goal of the season for Brett Hickey, team leading. And the Rock now doubling up Georgia 6-3. That was their 30th shot. And Shanny, was that the first goal, Toronto goal, that Tom Schreiber was not involved in?
I knew what you were going to ask, and yes.
Wow. Under 5 minutes to play in the half.
And if you go back and look at the replay, they might be changing it too.
Right. Mikey McDonald, right wing. Mikey McDonald off his back foot. Big rebound, though. McDonald right in after it. Blaine Manning, assistant coach, was telling us they'd like McDonald to be a little bit more aggressive as the wave starts here at the ACC.
Yeah, and that's the part of the game they'd like to see him improve. Like that play there where that loose ball was at his feet. When you can pick up those ground balls in a scrum, that's gold. And they'd like to see a little more of that from him.
Oh, Miles Thompson, the nasty offering. It was on the near side off the mark. Holstrauser pushing. And Nick Rose scooped it up on a great scoring chance by Shane Jackson. He was able to slither right by Billy Holstrauser there. So we'll take the break. 6-3, Rock up on the Swarm, 4:18 to go in the second quarter. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. Sign up and get all the latest NLL news delivered right to your inbox. Visit NLL.com to sign up for the NLL newsletter now. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan back at the Air Canada Center here. 6-3, Rock lead the Georgia Swarm. 4:10 left in the half.
I think Toronto's got a penalty. I believe it's Kieran McCardle for holding the stick, but we'll find out in a second.
Toronto minor penalty number 6. 2 minutes holding the stick.
There you go. So, Kieran McCardle not happy with the call. He takes the seat for 2 or less. And now we'll see that dangerous and potent Georgia power play. Georgia now with so many weapons. Hard to stop 5-on-5, never mind with the man advantage. Matisse sets the screen. That was perfect. That was designed absolutely perfectly. And Georgia scores their 4th.
Yeah, Lyle Thompson getting his 19th goal of the season. And you can see why the power play is so good. Matisse, 6'5", setting the screen, giving Thompson all kinds of time to wind up into that shot.
So that power play did not last long. Back to even strength. And you're right, Shannon. Matisse he can create so much space.
And that was big Brody McDonald trying to fight through that pick.
And battle in the neutral zone, have an out-of-town score. The Buffalo Bandits facing off against the New England Black Wolves, Shanny.
7-2 for New England.
Wow.
Early in the second quarter. Buffalo's already pulled their goaltender. David DeRuzio started this one. And I don't know if there's been a game with Buffalo where they have not pulled their goalie sometime.
No, we saw that right here a couple weeks back. Toronto trying to eat up time. Mikey McDonald going for a jog around the ACC. And can't get a clean shot away. Puts into the corner. .308 left in the first half. And the Swarm went stick side on Rose. He got a piece of it. He's trying to clear away Jesse Gamble. Thompson to his brother. Had Lyle to Miles.
Tried to take an off-speed shot there, hoping to fool Rose.
Yeah, a little knuckler. Jesse Gamble with that grounder. Had his head down. That's dangerous. Thompson hit him. And Lyle went to the turf as well. Miles on the left side. Lyle setting up in the high post. And Shane Jackson heading around from right to left. Watch out for him. 8 on the shot clock. Trying to screen in the back door, Lyle Thompson.
Good job by Damon Edwards not to let him get through to catch that ball.
Jesse Gamble will wait in the neutral zone for the offense to come on the floor.
A lot of floor time for Jesse Gamble.
Yeah.
Been back and forth a few times.
Kieran McCardle. Fresh off that hole in the stick penalty. Whoa, and that pass too high for Schreiber. He got it off the glass, though. Back to McCardle. Clicks with Schreiber. McCardle heads to the bench. Over to Evans. Everyone yelling shoot, and a wide open look for Poulin. Easy save. Swarm back the other way here. There's Miles Thompson. Went off of the Rock defender. And got the grounder. A one-on-one here. Brody Merrill has Cree with him. A 2-on-2 now at the back door. And Poulin got enough. Poulin got enough with that stick side. Good to be lucky. Lucky to be good, Shanny. Nice job cutting down the angles.
Absolutely.
LeBlanc, that shot way high. Rattled off the back glass. Toronto lucky to get it before it went over and back. As Evans, last minute of play in the first half. Stefan LeBlanc, right wing. 8 to shoot. Shot off the mark again. Schreiber now. There's LeBlanc, and the ball is knocked away. LeBlanc's looking to turn and shoot right away, but it was knocked by Miles Thompson.
Yeah, some good defense by Georgia. Now watch for the goaltender to be pulled. Georgia won't be able to do it with more than 30 seconds left.
Kick back and snare just in time by Matisse. Over to Thompson and Shane Jackson. Toe stopped by Rose. Now 18 seconds left.
Timeout called by Toronto.
And they will have the ball here to try for one more. They're up by 2 on Georgia. And Shanny, we were talking about this in the pregame show, that best case scenario for Toronto is, Georgia's going to score, but to keep them as low as possible. I think this first half, after withstanding that first barrage, has gone as good as expected.
Yeah, if you could hold Georgia to 4 goals so far and a half, Toronto's got to be thrilled with that. So that is exactly what they want with their game plan. And Toronto still going to try for one more. They'll pull Nick Rose in for the extra attacker. They would like to go to the dressing room up 7-4 if possible.
And Nick Rose coming in with the top goals against average as well as the best save percentage in the NLL. An unheard of 8.40 goals against. Like, Shanny, this far into the season, that's exceptional.
Over about 3 better than the next best guy in the league.
Yeah, you're right. And Mike Poulin really settling down too. All right. Extra attacker on for Toronto. The cage is empty. Play blown in. Stefan LeBlanc chugs up the floor.
He won't get over in 8 seconds if he doesn't speed up.
Little stroll. McCardle takes, gives right back to LeBlanc. 6 seconds left. You have to try to set something up. Unable to penetrate. 3 seconds. Turner Evans into the slot. Is that another post? And the clock hits 0. I think we have to have a separate save category for Poulin. Oh, and some pushing and shoving as the half comes to a close. Poulin's not interested. He'll take a walk. I was going to say, Shanny, though, you have the save category for Poulin and a save by the post.
No, absolutely, yes.
Man.
Toronto's hit about 4 posts. Georgia's hit a few as well.
6-4 at the half. And, Shanny, if you're Georgia, what's the strategy coming back out? I think one of the obvious ones is to stay out of the penalty box because that's really what took them out of their comfort zone so early when they had that early success.
Yeah, I think if you've been playing as well as Georgia, you got to just say, let's stay out of the box.
Yeah.
We're good enough that we're going to go on a run. And you hope you can get a run of goals past Nick Rose sooner or later. But a lot of teams have tried that this year. Not too many have been successful.
Remember, folks, Right to Play believes in the transformative power of play to engage and empower children and youth around the world. In Canada, the Promoting Life Skills and Aboriginal Youth Play program works with over 85 Indigenous communities to support leadership, development, and positive outcomes for Indigenous young people. To learn more or make a donation, visit righttoplay.ca. Okay, after 2 quarters of play, the Toronto Rock lead the Georgia Swarm 6-4. We'll step aside for a few minutes and come back for an exciting second half. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Welcome, lacrosse fans. Tyson Geik of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk Camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk Camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. It's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home in the actual real raw competition in the season. It's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
Pro lacrosse teams are now fielded in Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Maryland, Montreal, and Quebec.
Yesterday there was friendly competition and not so friendly competition. We knew our true colors weren't just worn on our backs, they were painted on our faces and hoisted as high in the air as we could possibly carry them. Whatever it took to claim our turf. Yesterday, we left it all out there. Blood, sweat, tears. You name it, we left it. We kept ourselves focused and we kept each other in check. And the only thing we took were epic shots. Yesterday, we saw more twists and turns in 8 seconds than most people saw in an entire season. We lost the ball, lost our minds. We lost countless times in every game. If you could see the ball, that was a slow day. Yesterday, physics didn't apply to us. Gravity wasn't welcome in our box. Armed with just a stick and a ball, we took flight. Yesterday, we were the best we could be. Today is our day.
The red-hot Georgia Swarm Pro Lacrosse team returns home on Sunday, February 19th at 6:05 to take on the Rochester Nighthawks at Harrah's Cherokee Casino Field Infinite Energy Arena. Come see the fastest game on 2 feet. Seats on the lower level start as low as $27. To purchase tickets, call 844-4GA-SWARM or visit georgiaswarm.com. Free parking at all home games. Come for the game, stay for the party.
I think what Chewy's trying to say is come join us Friday, March 3rd at 7:30 at the Air Canada Centre for Star Wars night.
Having worked with Bruce Barker in the past, one thing that sticks out in my mind is his contagious smile. Recently, the voice of the Toronto Rock suffered a stroke. And we had the chance to speak with family members and friends who wanted to send their well wishes as Bruce begins his road to recovery.
This is a huge game tonight. I'm ready. Are you ready, Toronto? Let's get this started. Go, Rock!
Barksy means a lot to the guys. I know, like for myself, he's kind of created a cheer for the fans to kind of yell my name and stuff, so that doesn't get lost on the players, kind of what he does for us.
Bruce is just one of the most kind and loving and giving people you could possibly meet.
Bruce is a ball of energy. When he comes down the hall and into the ACC, you know he's there. I mean, he just has this commanding presence and an insane smile that literally warms up the room. It sounds cliche, but he just makes people happy to be around him. And the fact that he loves the team and the game so much, it's pretty inspiring.
Friends and family of Bruce Barker describe him as energetic, kind, and a true fan of the National Lacrosse League. Bruce has called over 250 National Lacrosse games, even receiving a letter from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau this year congratulating him on this feat. Those who know Bruce know that there's nothing that makes him happier than getting fans excited up in the booth.
I've often said he would bag groceries to make a living if he was interacting with people. But don't take the Brock away from him. Don't take the National Lacrosse League away from him, because that's what he loves to do.
Bruce brings his big smile and big laugh to every Toronto Rock home game.
Just seeing him around, and he's always got that positive spirit, positive energy, and you know, it's a little bit like you know, just that familiarity, and that you know, it's a little bit comforting even though hearing his voice.
But as the Toronto Rock open up their season this year, one big smile was missing. A few weeks ago, Bruce suffered a stroke and was devastated that he would miss the beginning of the season.
He was really sad when he knew he couldn't do the season opener. But we talked to Mike Hancock and we said, you know, we're going to really work on being back. And Mike said, well, we're just keeping your chair warm for you. And you do the work, and it's waiting here for you, and your fans are waiting here, and all the guys love you, and we've gotten a huge amount of support.
Now Bruce is on the road to recovery, using Toronto Rock scripts to work on his speech.
Make some noise for the boys.
And while there's a long road ahead of him, knowing that he has the entire Toronto Rock team behind him and supporting him makes each step a little easier.
Hopefully he'll be back soon, but yeah, I mean, we will miss his energy that he brings. You know, he's been with us now for a while here.
We hope that he's back as soon as possible, and the guys will you know, again, be thinking of him, be thinking positive thoughts.
The support has been so incredible, friends even started a GoFundMe to help raise money for Bruce's medical bills.
I've often said that Bruce is one of the kindest men I've ever known, and he's very humble, and I don't know if he believed that. And we are so thankful, and the generosity has meant everything to us. But what I've seen it do for Bruce is I've seen him now really be able to calm himself and now just focus on recovery.
Bruce is determined to be back cheering on his team, his family, this season. On behalf of the entire National Lacrosse League, we are wishing you a speedy recovery. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
Welcome, lacrosse fans. Tyson Geik of NLL Productions here with you right now, and I'm joined by Shay Hewen, CEO and founder of the U-Hawk Camera. We have some exciting news for you today. The NLL has officially partnered with the U-Hawk Camera, the new official action camera of the National Lacrosse League. Shay, an exciting moment, you know, for both parties here.
Yeah, it's an incredible day. You know, it's a big step and a big moment in the history of sports, and for the National Lacrosse League to be the first league to step up and bring actual player point of view, video footage to fans at home. in the actual real raw competition in the season, it's a monumental day, and we're very excited to be the official camera provider to be a part of that.
All right, well, we've talked about what happened in Week 7 action. So, Tyson, now I want to know, who were your top players in Week 7 in this edition of Box Bosses?
Yes, time now for my Box Bosses. It gets more and more difficult to pick 3 players from every week, but I have to do it. And this week, I'm going to start with Lyle Thompson from the Georgia Swarm. 4 goals and 6 assists for a personal season high 10 points in a win over the Black Wolves. He also took draws for his team, scooped up 10 loose balls, and had a team high 14 shots on goal. Lyle Thompson is a player that can hit you in so many different ways when on the floor. At number 2, I've got Brent Adams. Scored his first NLL goal in his 3rd game in the league. This is an American field lacrosse player turned box lacrosse player who is doing a great job of adjusting to the indoor game. Having a big night in a game against the Stealth, where his 3rd goal of the night was also a winner in overtime, Adams certainly played the hero on Sunday night. And at number 1, I have Nick Rose of the Toronto Rock. Rosie continues to shine. He had a save percentage of .851 in a win over the Roughnecks on Sunday and is easily the number 1 choice for goaltender of the year at this point in the season at least. Nick Rose is a leader for the Toronto Rock on and off the floor. He's playing the best lacrosse of his career right now, and you better believe if he continue this play, the Rock will be laughing for the rest of the season. He has been great early on.
It's something rewarding to me and rewarding to, I know, a couple other guys here that are here this week, to see at the end of the week them enjoy the game of lacrosse and them actually take a little bit from what we talk about and what we say and actually use it to their benefit of, life skills or skills that are on the floor and skills that are off the floor.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the NLL Social Circle, where we take a look at some of the big stories happening across the league on social media this past week. And this week, love was definitely in the air. We had a chance to take a closer look at a very special bromance between teammates Jeremy Noble and Dylan Ward. Just take a look at this adorable photo. Fans were loving this, and if you haven't had a chance to check out the story yet, head on over to NLLTV.com. Well, the Buffalo Bandits made sure you had the perfect way to tell your Valentine how you felt about them with their very own personalized Valentine's Day cards. I really love Dane Girl, you look good. Well, I guess there wasn't love for everyone this Valentine's Day. Take a look at this video. Poor Hunter had his heart absolutely broken, but don't worry, Hunter, fans are looking out for you. Just take a look at this from Stephanie Kostiak. Her adorable pup Pearl wants to be your Valentine, Hunter. This weekend marks the Right to Play weekend across the National Lacrosse League, where they will be celebrating the partnership with this organization that believes in transformative power of play to engage and empower children and youth around the world. We had a chance to talk with New England Black Wolves Sean Evans about the partnership, and you can head on over to NLLTV.com to catch that full story. And I know it's chilly outside, but the Colorado Mammoth are getting us all geared up for summer. Take a look at this video, something I have never heard of before. Sand Lax, a 3-on-3 Sand Lax tournament. Not only are they working on their lacrosse skills, but I guess they're also working on their beach bodies because summer will be here before we know it. Vroom, vroom. One lucky fan will be driving away in this brand new car this weekend. The Saskatchewan Rush are giving away a car to one student at this week's Student Night. Well, fans, that wraps up the NLL Social Circle this week. If you want to be featured, just make sure to tag the NLL in all of your social media posts. For NLL Productions, I'm Mia Gordon.
Looks like 9-3 at the end of 2.
Back at the Air Canada Centre in downtown Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Ryan Shanahan. Third quarter underway as the Toronto Rock lead the Georgia Swarm 6-4. Swarm in their sharp yellow, white, and hive blue uniforms. Rock in blue, red, and white. And Shanny, you were saying right there the score coming on into the half in Buffalo and New England. The other game underway right now.
Yeah, 9-3 for New England after the half.
So a couple of East Division battles here. 2 at the top. Here Georgia and Toronto, and the 2 at the bottom between New England and Buffalo. And Swarm pressing, just like they did in the first half. They came out guns blazing, Shanny. Like first 2 minutes, Toronto didn't even get it over center. And then the penalty started, and Toronto was able to regroup.
Well, this time some good defense by Challen Rogers to get that ball back for Toronto.
Challen Rogers, what a nice addition. Turner Evans on the right wing. Yeah, Brett Hickey, Tom Schreiber has what? 5 points, Shanny? 6?
Yes.
Stephen LeBlanc.
Schreiber's got 5 points. You know, I was talking to Rock owner Jamie Dawick this week, and I was comparing the Rock to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
With all the youth.
You know, what they're getting from their young guys. Everybody's talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs and, you know, Matthews and Marner and, you know, Brown and all those guys. But you look at the Toronto Rock, even tonight, you've got Schreiber and McArdle. You're getting a great play in the back end.
Scars! And there's a great play from the right side.
I think that was Steph LeBlanc.
I think you're right.
Who's been quiet on the goal-scoring front today, although he's got 2 or 3 assists.
There you go.
And the
LeBlanc,
outside shots are working for the Toronto Rock. Now, we haven't mentioned how many times have they beat Poulin and hit the post.
Separate shot categories we're going to do between Poulin and the post. 5th goal of the season. And LeBlanc, remember, missed a couple of games with a hamstring injury earlier in the year. And guess who on the assist?
You heard it.
Tom Schreiber's been in on every goal but one tonight for the Rock. 1 goal, 5 assists. Unreal.
Yeah, the young players, again, look at the goals tonight. McArdle's got 2. Evans, a second-year player, has got 1. LeBlanc's not a young player. Schreiber's got his 6 points. Lintner, a second-year player, has got 1. And then the back end, you got Challen Rogers.
Fed Schreiber and Poulin grabbed it.
Just got a piece of that with his glove.
Just snared that line drive. Great hand-eye coordination by Poulin. Georgia Swarm top-scoring offense in the NLL against the best defense in the league in Toronto. Spin behind the back, and that was way off the mark, but Brian Cole.
I'll tell you, that would have been pretty.
Sure, that would have been on every highlight show going. And then Blaine Manning said, watch out for Brian Cole in transition. Young player, number 55. Didn't work out that time, but it could. There's Lintner. Went left to right. And Poulin handcuffed for a moment. Gets rid of it quickly. And zipping up the floor of the Swarm. Captain Jordan McIntosh, longtime member of the Swarm organization. Johnny Paulus, first game back this season from a concussion he suffered over the summer. He's only 23, but boy, is he a veteran. And we talk about posts saving Poulin, a post saved Toronto there. Lyle Thompson fighting. Those Thompson brothers are bulldogs. Jordan Hall scored a nifty goal earlier. High drop pass to Paulus. Scars! Johnny Paulus.
Well, it was the shot by Johnny Paulus, but this is the play by veteran Jordan Hall that gave Paulus all that room to step into that shot. Jordan Hall goes hard to the net, draws the second defender to cheat a little bit. It's Latrell Harris.
Yep.
Cheats on him, and that gives 93 Paulus lots of room to receive that pass, step into a shot.
And his first goal of the season. So you add, Jenny, he comes back from concussion. So you already add to the Georgia Swarm. To all that firepower on this team, Johnny Paulus, a guy who scored over 30 goals in this league. It's almost unfair.
Absolutely. And there's no way Paulus is even close to his Prime being out since the summer.
And we might have a penalty to Toronto.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
As Mike Poulin was going to the bench.
Looks like Damon Edwards.
Toronto penalty number 45, 2 minutes. Check from behind.
Check from behind, yeah, to Damon Edwards. So now we'll see what that third-ranked Georgia power play can do. For the Swarm, they have a pair of power play goals, one by Lyle Thompson, other by Jordan Hall, a shorthander.
Oh, we saw what they did last time. See if they're able to do that again.
Look at that footwork by Lyle Thompson. But a better stop by Rose. And drops it. They have to get it over center by 8 seconds, and they do. Here's the Latrell Harris.
They tried to set up that same screenplay on Brody Merrill, but he fought his way through it this time.
There's Brett Hickey with some space. Hickey looking for a shorthanded goal. But Poulin was down to a knee. Loose ball. And Poulin gives it to Cole.
You watch to see if Georgia tries to go back to that play, but they got Lyle Thompson at the top. Are they going to set that high pick again or that high screen on Brody Merrill, if they'll switch it up?
That footwork to get Rose moving, phenomenal. Behind the back pass, oh my.
Wow. Oh my, oh
wow,
my.
Shanny. I don't know how that made its way in.
I didn't think it did go in. I didn't think it did go in. It obviously did, but I thought that hit the back of the net. I thought that Rose was over in time, but what a pass.
I wish we could get the angle from the other side, because look, it looks like he was up against the post. Look, behind the back pass from Thompson to Thompson. Unbelievable. Lyle to Miles. Man.
That's a beautiful, and you don't see that too often. You know, that's a play that John Grant, not John Grant Jr., John Grant Sr. was famous for that in his career. Up at the top of the power play, over the shoulder to the crease, and in the net. I don't know if I've seen it since then.
That was unreal. And the whistle.
The whistle, obviously,
whistle blow, yeah.
John.
Oh, and some pushing and shoving here between Cree and Cole on the near boards.
And Cole's got a hold of Cree's mask, I believe.
As the Swarm have quietly moved within one goal. And we'll see Cole is headed to the penalty box, and he's the only one. Roughing the call on Brian Cole, who is not happy, obviously. So now Toronto goes back to the power play, and with the man advantage, they have scored 3 times. McCardle, Hickey, and Evans.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about, the keys, you got to stay out of the power, stay out of the box.
Special teams.
Although I think both teams will tell you that both teams have been suffering by taking penalties, so Toronto's power play hasn't been working this game.
And Schreiber, point blank range, just reared back. And the ball was off the shoulder.
Let's see if...
now Poulin's saying it.
I don't know what's going on there, if he got hurt.
He looked like he was pointing the possession. I don't know.
There must be an equipment repair, I'm guessing.
All right, well, with that, we'll get it sorted out and take... I think we're going to take the break. Yeah, 9:57 to go in the third quarter. Rock lead the Swarm 7-6. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Welcome back to the ACC in Toronto. 9:57 left in the third quarter. The Rock clinging to a 7-6 lead over the visiting Georgia Swarm. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. Join the conversation on Twitter using hashtag GA versus TOR. And you can tweet at us at NLL, at AndyMC81, at SBD Shanny.
Toronto's
Rock on the power play.
Toronto's had their most success in a power play shooting from the top.
Yes. You were saying, Shanny, the side shots.
Iapolo's done a great job on the side shots.
Yeah.
He seems to anticipate those passes and he gets over, but he has not guessed right from up top.
And the Rock's power play a resurgence, and he guesses right that time.
Oh.
Squeezes those pads together from his knees.
Yeah, he's been beaten between the legs before.
Yep.
That time it wasn't going.
And Stefan LeBlanc punishing.
He's a big hitter, LeBlanc.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Punishing Krepensek. And Lyle Thompson now. Cross floor. Finds Tutton.
One shorthanded goal so far
That's
in this
right.
game.
Came to Shane Jackson. Tutton sandwiched. Sees nothing but blue jerseys. Still keeps possession. Got a quality shot away. Rose turns it aside, though.
Yeah, sometimes when you're on the power play playing defense, you just want to punish the other guys. And, if they're going to try to take it to the net, you want them to be hurting a lot by the end of the game.
McCardle receives to Schreiber. Playing catch. Back to McCardle. The point shot. Whoa, lightning fast release and velocity by McCardle. That's how he scored one of his 2 goals tonight, but
that hit the net. That was going in.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Oh, that was a cheating play by McCardle. Almost got burned.
And diving. And he did. And he did.
That was.
So the shot missed, bounce off the board, and coming back the other way, Jordan McIntosh, the captain, second shorthanded goal of the night for the Swarm.
Couple of bad plays by McCardle. First he tried to cheat for the interception, then he steps off. And not just him, the other Rock defender here. I think it's
Latrell Harris. That's 2 now. That's 2 spots for Latrell Harris where he was off the mark. Now he is young. He's 18, but Jordan McIntosh, 5th goal of the season. What a great veteran he is.
Great job by McIntosh. You got to know McIntosh is taking that to the net, though.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So now we're tied at 7, folks. Whole new game here. And that was shorthanded. Still in the power play for another 20 seconds is Toronto. And this is dangerous territory for the Rock. So you can feel the momentum shifting in the Swarm's favor. Hickey into the slot. Again, point-blank range.
And look who's coming out of the box.
Oh, boy. There's Cole. Back to even strength. It'll be Georgia ball. And Poulin coming up huge on the last 2 stops.
Toronto got fortunate that the rebound came into their sticks as Brian Cole just stepped out of the box and was wide open.
Right onto Rose. Secures it in his belly. Lob outlet pass. Here's the speedy Damon Edwards with that knee brace on his right leg. Edwards scores! Top shelf with a bullet! Number 45. 8-7 Toronto.
And that's the 5th goal by Damon Edwards this season. He's been great on the transition for the Toronto Rock. Really shows how much they missed him last year. Played some really tough defense, but he's got some speed and he's got some pretty good finish, as we've seen 5 times this year.
That was a nifty shot too there, Shanny. Got a 3-quarter offering on that one. Toronto on their 43rd shot of the game, and we're not even halfway through the 3rd quarter. 8-7 Toronto. And Nick Rose with an assist. How about that? And Sandy Chapman with the other helper. Swarm here, though. Try and draw that defense out. Over to Jerome Thompson. Rose with the save. And Toronto back the other way. A 3-on-1. Swatted down. Great defense by Pellis. They get it back, though. Poulin to his right knee. And he got just enough. Long outlet pass. Was it behind Littner? A bit of a judo throw there.
Good defense by Littner. Now that this is, not to pick on McCardle, but this is where you don't go for the interception. You just make sure the man going for the break is not going to catch it.
And tiptoeing along that crease. Scars. Dan Littner with his second of the night. 9-7 Toronto.
Well, Littner will be a hero when he goes to the bench because his coaches just saw him work his butt off on two ends of the floor. He stopped the breakaway by Georgia, comes down the floor, goes hard through the dirty spot, catches the pass, puts it in, and then takes a beating.
That's a complete game for you right there.
Absolutely.
Soaring through the air. It'll be McIntosh and Magnuson taking this face off. Edwards with the assist, so Edwards with back-to-back points. Rock spreading the ball around a little bit more now. Jordan Hall. Jordan Hall scored an absolutely gorgeous goal earlier in this game. Spin move. What a spin move to score. The Swarm coming right back, and that's Big Daddy Kyle Matisse. He just spun around. And
he sure did. I'm Toronto, though. I'm watching the replay of this to see if there's a chance to throw a flag because that was awfully close.
Willed his way.
Oh, that looks good.
And he just got airborne.
I know.
Just before that was the spin move, and then he went high.
Nick Rose was calling for the crease call, but those replays I saw, he looked like he was good.
I'm with you. So now it's 9-8, and what a game for Kyle Matisse. But that's his game, right? Uses his size to his advantage, Shane, to clear space, and then when given the opportunity, can convert.
And are we starting to get exactly what we said Toronto doesn't want to get into? It's becoming a bit of a shootout.
No, yeah, you don't want to go.
You don't want to be trading opportunities with a team that can score goals like Georgia.
6:30 left in the third. Toronto with the ball. There's Brett Hickey. Hickey with a screen, underhand whip. Robbed by Poulin.
That's a good hard shot through a screen.
Yeah. Jason Noble. Watch out for Shane Jackson. He's slippery. Right wing. Trying to find a lane. Got it in behind.
Oh, they worked that two-man game till something eventually opened up.
That was for Noble. And going across, they scored on that earlier, that similar play. But the Swarm forward was unable to plant. And Rock coming back the other way now. There's Schreiber. Schreiber to the right wing. Found McCardle.
That's McDonald, I believe.
Oh, McDonald, yes. And Littner clicks on the right. Nobody in front of Poulin. Wide open look. Went for the bouncer, and that sails about 7 rows up behind him. They've had success with the outside shot, Shanny, but you have to have, at some point, some sort of traffic in front of Poulin.
Yeah, you got to hit the net, too.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
That helps. Keep an eye on Johnny Powlis. He's at the top. There's Thompson.
Oh, that was a nice hit.
Sent back top of the point. And that ball goes into the crowd as well on the near corner. Challen Rogers in the neutral zone. He'll head off. Stephen LeBlanc weaving his way in to Swarm territory. Now he sets up in the low post. And you have Littner trying to create some space. Went high. Poulin not giving up a rebound. Got caught in his pads. So we'll step aside. 9-8. Close one here at the ACC Rock up on the Swarm. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
That's impossible.
Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Sports Interaction, Canada's home for worldwide sports betting. Bet responsibly at sportsinteraction.com. Disclaimer, only residents of Canada may open an account with Sports Interaction. The service is not available to users outside of Canada.
Nine-8 to score with 4:49 left in the third quarter here at the ACC in Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. What a game we have here. Georgia Swarm possession going from left to right on your screen. Pressing the rock. And a wide open cage. Scores! That ball kind of fluttered, but caught Rose going from right to left and not much of a chance.
This is a phenomenal pass by Lyle Thompson. Where do you see this again? I don't know if anyone in the league can make a pass like this. On his backhand, full speed.
So number 4. Oh, wow. To Miles again.
Two
times.
Through the seam. Like, that is an unbelievable pass.
So we saw the behind-the-back beauty feed from Thompson to Thompson earlier on the power play. And now, again, from Lyle to Miles, they convert. All tied up at 9. Here's what's on the line. First place in the East, best record in the NLL, and a chance to put even more separation between themselves and the other teams. Playing tonight, trying to stay in playoff contention, are the New England Black Wolves and Buffalo Bandits. That's on right now on NLL TV also. Shane Jackson behind the back pass, and they try and going right back to that. This time it was Kyle Matisse. Didn't work out quite as well. There's Challen Rogers barreling down, chugging, rumbling, and he just fired that. It was off the mark. Faked the pass. The big boy had a full head of steam. Ball knocked free, and a turnover created by the captain, Brody Merrill.
Brody Merrill must be able to run quietly because he snuck up on Lyle Thompson, who doesn't get snuck up on too often.
Key turnover. See if the Rock can do something with this. Brett Hickey trying to create some space. And through the screen. Count it. And it is Kieran McArdle, part of the American experiment. McArdle with the hat trick.
Nice bounce shot. He's definitely established that he's got one of the more dangerous outside shots on this team. Criticized him a little earlier for a defensive mishap, but in fairness, it's not too often that an inexperienced offensive player gets stuck on defense against a guy like McIntosh. But this is his area of comfort on the offense.
Sure. Former MML Rookie of the Year, or MLL rather, Rookie of the Year in his first year along with Tom Schreiber, both 24 years old from Long Island, New York. Just taken the NLL by storm. And makes up for a couple of errors earlier in the game, now with 3 goals on the night. And Toronto up 10-9. Here's the other American, Tom Schreiber. Schreiber bulldozes his way through, dives, and what a save by Mike Poulin.
That was a beautiful play by Schreiber, but you said it. Poulin made beautiful, timely save.
And here are the Swarm. Watch out for Johnny Powless. He has one tonight. First game of the season, back from a concussion. Number 93, all sorts of dangerous. And that shot did not get through. Jeff Gilbert got in the way. He'll have a welt tomorrow, I'm sure. And the shot clock hits 0, rock ball. Jesse Gamble takes it on the transition. Swarm quick to get back, though. Hickey still going to try it. Went for the bouncer long out. That has worked tonight. Off the mark, though. Catching that fly ball was Littner to keep it from going over center. 2:15 left in the third. Rock up by 1. 8 to shoot. Schreiber, little stutter step. Shimmy, shake. He's back, can't penetrate, and went stick side. I think Poulin thought that went in. He looked up. He looked up to the rafters.
Well, it deflected off his leg. Was just lying in the crease to be picked up.
And Georgia back the other way. Plants that foot. Jackson with a rocket. And Rose with a save. They got the rebound, though. And Jerome Thompson. The ball will go back to Toronto.
That might be a penalty to Georgia
Let's see. Yeah.
for not putting the ball down.
2 minutes, illegal cross check.
Oh, no, illegal cross check.
All right, Shane Jackson. Didn't argue that one. You don't see that too often, Shane. He's just like, yep, got it. Ran in.
I know what I did.
Don't even announce it.
We didn't know what he did. We didn't see it.
You did not argue. So the Rock with another power play tonight. They had 50 shots. 50 already. And we still have more than a quarter to go. Rock have scored 3 times with the man advantage. See what they can do here. As we expected, the special teams have been a big part of this game. Schreiber with an underhand pass. Went high, and that was deflected and floated, almost hovered. But Poulin saw enough of it to swat it away. Rock get the ball back. LeBlanc at the top point. Schreiber on the right. 20 seconds on the shot clock, lots of time. Feeds LeBlanc. Clicks with Schreiber. Schreiber with some space, went high, but the ball was redirected. And it rattled off the glass. Loose ball scramble. Still loose, and somehow the Rock came out with it. Turner Evans. Schreiber takes a shoulder. Ball knocked free. Evans goes in against Ethan O'Connor, and finally Georgia gets the ball back. What an exchange. Last minute of play in the third. And the Swarm, who have scored 2 shorthanded goals tonight, are looking for this again. But they won't, at least not on this last or second last exchange of the quarter. 3-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. 18 seconds now.
Georgia's trying to deny Toronto that shot from the point.
That's where Poulin has struggled. Hickey behind the back pass to Schreiber. To the right side. Waiting. 7 seconds left. 2 on the shot clock. They won't get to it. And Georgia will have 1.9 seconds to just throw it down the floor. And that will do it for the third quarter after 3. What a game we have. 10-9. Rock up on the Swarm with first place in the East on the line. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Scott Digby on the take, scores!
Now back over to Dane Smith with a shot. Hit the goal post inside, he scores!
Afraid you might miss out on the big stories from your favorite team? Well, not to fear, the NLL newsletter is here. All you have to do is subscribe to the new NLL newsletter, and you'll get weekly updates from everything that is happening around the league. What are you waiting for? Subscribe today.
Back underway in the fourth quarter here at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. 10-9 the score. Rock leading the Georgia Swarm. 51 shots for the Rock, 40 for Georgia. On the line tonight, first place in the East and the best record in the National Lacrosse League. Busy weekend around the NLL. This is the first of 7 total games. New England and Buffalo also underway right now on NLL TV. There's Lyle Thompson in the crease. Almost stepped in it. And as the shot clock hit 0, sent a desperation effort into Rose. Georgia in their yellow, white, and blue uniforms. Rock, red, blue, and white. Stephen LeBlanc receives on the right side. Puts that shoulder down. Stephen LeBlanc, and the ball is knocked loose. Great defense there by Mitch Belisle. Have the best offense in the league versus the top defense. Big Matisse on the floor. Number 46. Three-quarter shot. Somehow got through 4 players. Found its way to Nick Rose, who was in the way. Sprinting up the floor is Damon Edwards. He is a goal tonight, has a helper as well. Damon Edwards went to pass it, but then tumbles and falls. Matisse playing a little soccer. Kicks it to Mike Poulin.
Kicked it back into his crease, so Toronto will get that ball back.
And now Toronto gets some fresh legs on the floor. Mikey McDonald. Yeah, McCardle, McDonald. There's Schreiber on the left. And the rebound went right back to Schreiber. Well, it went to him, then got through him. And John Rannigan was able to get possession for the Swarm. You see a little hop just in time. Matisse, that was almost an over and back pass. Just skipped over center. Just over 2 minutes have expired in this fourth quarter. Johnny Paulus fed, and the shot was high. Rose got his shoulder in the way. What a short distance pass by Paulus. That was tremendous.
Yeah, these guys are just so good at making those short passes in the two-man game.
Lyle Thompson, kick saved by Rose. Miles Thompson, spinning, got past it back to brother Lyle. 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Thompson brothers, Miles and Lyle, have connected on a couple of phenomenal goals. Highlight reel. McDonald takes the outlet pass in stride, then bobbled it. He'll wait now in the neutral zone for help. Turner Evans here on the left wing. Sends it in behind, back to the point. Plants that foot. That was a rocket. Ricocheted off the backboards, though, and back into the Toronto end. That's Captain Jordan McIntosh. Has one of the Swarm's 2 shorthanded goals tonight. Pass too high. Sandy Chapman ran into his man, got the worst of it. Thompson spinning down to a knee. Lyle trying to create some space. Matisse's shot was redirected. That stick hit at the last second. There's Jordan Hall. Shot clock at 4 and 2, and they'll just send it in behind Nick Rose.
You know, it's so fun watching this offense, especially the Thompsons. You could play perfect defense, and they still make things happen.
Well, you saw that one goal from Lyle to Miles where Miles was on the goal line, the crease line. I still don't know how it went.
I don't know how anyone could defend a pass like that.
No. You can do everything technically sound, and it doesn't matter.
Oh, you put Lyle Thompson to his wrong side off balance, but he makes a
and he does it.
Tremendous pass, and most players would never even know to find a guy there, let alone do it on a backhand on the run.
That brother connection. And there's Jerome Thompson. The ball nips off the top of the glass and into the platinum seats here at the ACC. Play blown right back in, and they caught Toronto off guard.
Oh, Toronto fell asleep there.
Wow, that play was blown back in quickly. Nobody was ready, and we're all tied up at 10.
That's absolutely what happened there. The Toronto Rock just didn't get their coverage done in time. They knew Georgia was getting the ball, and they left the man open on the crease.
Georgia noticed that moment of weakness.
Yeah, Jordan Hall, or I guess that was Jerome Thompson, just sneaks in there before Toronto's covering. Then Georgia doesn't have to wait till Toronto's ready.
No.
Referee blows it in. We're going.
So every Thompson has scored tonight. All three. And Paulus with the assist. So tied at 10. Just about 5 minutes has gone by in this fourth quarter. Shots 52-46 for Toronto.
And this is probably the first game where Toronto's been dominated on the faceoffs.
Yeah. Right, because Bradley Cree's been a phenom all season behind the back. Offering there by Shane Jackson. Was wide. Billy Hostrauser, some nifty footwork. There's the captain, Brody Merrill. Hustling up the floor. Drops for Merrill. Merrill through a screen. Went for a bouncer. That's what's beaten Poulin on a couple of times.
And there's a penalty coming here. I'm assuming it was for too many men on the floor and an illegal substitution for Georgia. It's hard to tell. They got about 9 guys on the floor now.
We'll see. The officials are pointing. And the Rock getting some clarification. I see the Georgia door is open on the penalty box.
I don't know. There might be Toronto going on the penalty box, yes.
Huh. Well, there's Damon Edwards. And is he the only one? All right, well, we'll see.
Toronto penalty, number 45, 2 minutes rough.
Oh, I didn't see that.
So Damon Edwards in the penalty box for 2 or less. Under 10 minutes to play in the fourth. Georgia back on the power play. Third rank coming in tonight in the NLL with the man advantage. There's Lyle Thompson. Lyle to Matisse. Matisse feeding. Tethers to Thompson. Intercepted. Gilbert. Now the ball's knocked loose again in the crease. Sandy Chapman here gets it out. And find Brody Merrill on the right wing. A 2-on-1. Merrill. And Merrill with a zip. Poulin spinning around. He turned around about twice there.
Brody Merrill does everything well. The one area of his game that is not the strongest is he's not the greatest finisher.
Great opportunity.
He's had about 5 glorious scoring chances this game.
There's Matisse to the point for Lyle. Thompson on to Rose, but a big rebound. Ball's free. And Miles Thompson has it over to Lyle. Lyle receives, clicks with Matisse, went high again, but Georgia, still with 42 seconds on the man advantage, gets another fresh 30. Trying to wear down this Toronto defense, and they score.
I will be shocked if he was not in the crease.
That's what I was going to say. I'm surprised. The referee was right there.
He was. He seemed to catch that while he was in the crease. We'll get a chance to see the replay.
Let's see here. Okay, great ball movement.
Yeah, he looks like he was in the air.
And it was Kyle Matisse. So Jackson to Matisse.
Yeah, that's good.
Tuck those legs up.
He did a Michael Jordan. He floated in the air.
Yeah. 9th goal of the year, second tonight. And Matisse wasn't just the elevation, it was that he tucked those legs to give himself that extra half second. So power play goal. 4th extra man goal on the night for Georgia. And Jackson with the helper. So Georgia with an 11-10 lead.
First lead for Georgia since they took a 1-0 lead in the game.
That's right. Trying to finish strong. And that will take us to the first break of the fourth quarter. 8:20 to go in the fourth. And Toronto now trail the Swarm 11-10. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
Versus Miles Thompson, Georgia Swarm, Curtis Dixon, Calgary Roughnecks. Here we go. Miles Thompson, the champion from last week. Great behind the back shot over the shoulder of Dylan Ward of the Colorado Mammoth. What a goal. Unbelievable. That one was on SportsCenter Top 10. Now Curtis Dixon, behind the back, behind the waist shot. This one's crazy. You're going to need about 5 looks to digest this shot by the creative man, Curtis Dixon. Fans, who have you got? Miles Thompson of the Georgia Swarm or Curtis Dixon of the Calgary Roughnecks? You know what to do. Head to Twitter now, cast your vote, and we'll see who comes out on top as champion.
.8:10 left in the fourth quarter. Georgia with their first lead since the first quarter and almost made it a 2-goal deficit for Toronto. We are back to even strength here after a Swarm power play goal. There's Miles Thompson with some space, drops it back, trying to lure the defense in. Thompson brothers do that so well, creating mismatches. Overhand swim move, and what a defensive effort there by Billy Hostrauser, taking away an opportunity there. Brody Merrill. It was a 3-on-1. Now it is again. Brody Merrill's going to try another one, and finally, on attempt number 6, the captain buries it to tie it at 11, and he is relieved.
And you know, it's funny because he was looking for every opportunity to pass that ball off, and he realized they were letting him shoot, and this time he finds the hole.
Beats Mike Poulin.
Goal scored by the captain, number 37.
And Brody Merrill, second goal of the season. He could have had about 4 or 5 on the year tonight.
Assist to number 91.
And the Rock looking for more. Win that faceoff, Bradley Cree. Both goaltenders have stood on their head this evening. 55 shots for Toronto, 51 for Georgia. And Georgia come back the other way. Now a fast break of their own. There's the Swarm. Krepinski, sidearm, and scooped up by Rose. Long, and then Brody Merrill looking for more, maybe. High pass, and stride, shot, saved by Poulin. That's for Hickey. Harris got the rebound. And Poulin pulling a Dominic Hasek, flailing all over the place. Getting into that track meet mode. Cole receives.
And Georgia got called for 8 seconds.
Here we go, Billy Hostrauser. This is getting wild as time winds down in the fourth. Toronto's offense coming on the floor. Turner Evans moves to the right wing. Kieran McArdle directing traffic. Receives it. Clicks with Evans. Evans winding up. 9 to shoot. There's Kieran McArdle. Hat trick tonight for the young American in his first NLL season. McArdle switches hands, and the ball got through, or right in between the legs. Hold on now.
No, the whistle
had
gone.
Did blow. Okay. He got caught in the pass.
The fans in the ACC
and the booze
thought that should have been a goal.
Right call. It was the right call. Got caught in the pass. There's Monetize using that giant frame. He can score. He can create lanes. Johnny Powell is being harassed by Sandy Chapman. Loose ball still in the far corner. A four-man battle. Chapman gets chucked to the turf. It's free, and the three players didn't know about it. They're still going at each other. Jordan Magnuson.
Some good defense by Toronto Rock.
It's a rock ball.
Rock ball. And almost a turnover coming out of the bench and tries to over and back.
So called over and back, and they're going to get called.
Yeah. LeBlanc was pushed.
And Toronto got a penalty.
Rose with a save. The tempo is getting turned up here at the ACC. And Tutton giving Rose a tap, seeing
Toronto's getting a penalty for not cleanly putting the ball on the floor when that over and back was called.
LeBlanc was shoved and was falling backward trying to get rid of it. And as we're tied at 11 with 5:38 left, you see the save by Rose there. So penalty to the Rock.
This power play has been hot for Georgia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is really heated up. Third coming in. If they're not in second over Buffalo, I'm sure they are tonight. Bandits were in trouble when last we checked against New England. And creeping in, Matisse setting up like a center in that low post. Shot turned aside. 24 on the shot clock, Lyle Thompson. The point, blind pass to Matisse. Fakes the shot, went high far corner off the mark. Challen Rogers, or rather Latrell Harris. Thompson kept it somehow, and it is off. Ball stays in, rattles off the glass, but the Swarm get possession back. There's Miles Thompson, rears back as the shot clock went down to 1. And here are the Rock. Brody Merrill thinks, I'm going to wait for reinforcements this time. Off the bench they do, but the Swarm right back. Hickey, he was pushed but used that momentum to spin back and get a shot away. Rumbling down is Brian Cole now. Pulls it back, waits in the neutral zone. 52 seconds left to kill for Toronto. Swarm so dangerous at 5-on-5, and then you factor in the power play. They've really turned that on tonight. Lyle Thompson gets rid of it. Setting up two back behind the back passes. Does not fool Nick Rose. Snap outlet pass and get in the bouncer. There's Jesse Gamble. Gamble spinning, waiting, can't penetrate. Has to hold. 3:50 left in the fourth, tied at 11. Mikey McDonald on the right wing.
Very smart play by Gamble. When he saw he didn't have a scoring chance, he realized it made more sense to eat up the clock.
And McDonald drops it as the shot clock hits 0. And the penalty is over for the Rock as well. So we will take our last break here. 3:38 to go. And we're tied at 11 between the Rock and the Swarm. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
And now, Mia, of course, I turn it over to you for your unsung hero, a player who may not have chipped in on the score sheet, but contributed to his team's successes in other ways. So who have you got?
Well, we talked about just how dominant the Saskatchewan Rush has been as of late, and we can talk about what's been happening up front with Mark Matthews and Robert Church all we want. But my unsung hero this week is someone who's been helping them out from the faceoffs, and that is Jeremy Thompson. In order for them to be able to get the goals and get going, they need to be in control of the ball, right? And that is why Jeremy is my unsung hero this week. Tyson, let's just take a look at some of these numbers. He won 18 out of 29 of the faceoffs that he took. That is 62% of faceoffs won, meaning that the Rush were in control of the ball for the majority of the game thanks to Jeremy. He also had an assist in the win. So that is why Jeremy Thompson is my unsung hero this week.
Jeremy Thompson, one of the bigger names in the game of lacrosse and bigger names in the NLL. Always got a smile on his face, a big part of the Saskatchewan Rush, and a great guy to talk to.
Back at the ACC, out-of-town scoreboard. New England into Buffalo in the fourth quarter. Shanny, what do we have?
It's 13-9 for New England. Buffalo has scored 3 straight goals, about 6 minutes to go.
Very important game for both these teams as they have a home-and-home this weekend. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan. 3:29 left in the fourth quarter here at the Air Canada Centre. Georgia with possession. This has been such an entertaining back and forth, just as we expected from the two top teams record-wise in the NLL. And it will be Toronto ball here, whistled in. Shots 58-57 for the home team. Stephen LeBlanc winding back, trying to create some space for McCardle, who has an absolute laser beam of a shot.
And Poulin did a great job of coming out on that shot.
Save. There's Tutton. Tutton spinning around. Tutton double team now. Ball squirts loose. Body's flying. Toronto trying to pick it up. Sandy Chapman races over center. He lost track of the ball. This coming right down to the wire. Winner takes first in the East and the best record in the NLL. Long shot right on for Poulin. After a little bit of a shaky start, the Poulin wall has been as strong as ever.
He seems to be establishing that he's not letting those outside shots.
No.
He's really coming out, taking away the angle, and Toronto has no one to pass to on those plays.
There's Lyle Thompson, who has, what's that, Jenny? 8 assists tonight?
8 assists.
8 assists. Wow. Thompson brothers continue to amaze. Shoulder saved by Rose. Loose ball free, all alone, and Rose stoned him cold. What a save. That could have been a game changer right there.
Huge save to deny Lyle Thompson's his 9th assist.
And Lyle Thompson, right in, Kyle Matisse, Rose on his bobblehead night. Was a crease violation, so rock ball. There's Brody Merrill. Under 2 minutes to go here, Shanny. This is what you want.
The first place game, that's exactly what you want.
Thank you so much for joining us here on NLL TV. First of 7 games this weekend. Rock in action in Rochester tomorrow. Stephen LeBlanc shot into the logo of Poulin. Snap outlet pass right to Connor Sellers.
We're getting great goaltending both ends.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Rose is stopping the inside shots. Poulin stopping the outside shots.
Lyle Thompson on the left wing. Waits for the offense to develop. Quick release. Rebound to Thompson. Thompson, the ball is free, and Toronto comes up with it. 1:07 left. Hold on now. There's Latrell Harris. Breakaway for Harris. Shoot, scores! Latrell Harris on the fast break with a minute left. Oh, baby.
18-year-old Latrell Harris.
Not for a lack of
great
effort.
Defense by Toronto. And that'll be reviewed, but we saw the replay, and that's a good goal.
Look at, do you see Jason Noble in the background there, Shanny? Just sprawled out, sliding, diving.
And, you know, that all started with Lyle Thompson going to the net, swarmed by 3 Toronto Rock players. He tucked it in pretty good, but when that ball bounced loose, I think it was Sandy Chapman, picked it up, put it up the floor to Latrell Harris. We talk about importance of face-offs.
You are at goal. All right, so they checked it out, said it was a good goal. Latrell Harris was sprung, and you said it, Shanny. This face-off, this is where the face-off specialists are so important.
And McIntosh is one of the best.
As is Bradley Cree this season for Toronto. Put their head down in that scrum. 58 seconds left, it squirts free, and whoa! Swung down.
Oh, I was surprised at that. I thought that was a good check.
Ethan Connor was hacked.
Did he call a penalty?
On Latrell Harris. So Ethan O'Connor was taken down from behind by Latrell Harris.
I'm
and
not sure what's going on here.
Toronto minor penalty, 2 minutes. Interference.
Interference. Here's the call.
I thought this was good D here. And
wow.
Rock penalty to number 93, Latrell Harris. 2 minutes for interference. Time of the penalty.
Referee felt he didn't give enough room after he put down the ball.
All right.
This will make this pretty exciting.
47 seconds left. Man advantage for Georgia. Toronto up by 1. Swarm swinging the ball. Matisse' feet.
Matisse tried the same thing he did last time.
Didn't work that time. Toronto holding it here. 33 seconds. Short-handed. Brody Merrill. Oh, he was tiptoeing along that center line. Oh, very close. The Swarm pressuring. The ball swatted free. And it's turned over. There's Lyle Thompson. 22 seconds left. Brody Merrill trying to get back. And Georgia will call a timeout.
And Toronto might have been lucky they called the timeout because they got stuck with some guy, not the right players on defense.
So here's the storyline. 12-11 Toronto up. Questionable penalty call interference on Latrell Harris. And now Georgia's one of the best power plays in the league has 19.2 seconds to try to send this to overtime.
And they're going to make it a 6-on-4, not just a 5-on-4.
Yeah.
So they're going to pull their goalie. They'll probably put the extra player in the middle, and that will collapse Toronto's defense a little bit. And you don't want to collapse that defense when you got a guy like Lyle Thompson taking outside shots. So this is going to be pretty interesting. But great save by Nick Rose on Matisse, doing the exact same play where he scored a power play goal earlier. Floated in.
The crowd is rabid here at the ACC.
Sure, they got Kyle Matisse in the center. Sometimes that's just a decoy.
Action whistled in. Thompson, 16 seconds left off the crossbar. The ball sails high into the sky. Stays in play. 6 seconds left. The ball scores! 3.2 seconds left. The Swarm tie it with 3.2 seconds left. Unbelievable.
You know, sometimes the bounces go your way. That ball, as you said, went high up in the sky. Georgia got it back. And was that Shane Jackson?
It was. Shane Jackson, and he had to reach out there, Shane. He reached out, snare the ball, bring it back, and convert it.
Oh, he was just at the right spot, just bounced into his stick. He knew he had a few seconds to spare. Reached around, made that diving shot. I dare say we're going to overtime.
Wow. 63 shots for Toronto, 61 for Georgia. They'll review it.
Mandatory review.
Yep. And it's confirmed. Jeez. 12-all. This game's been so entertaining. Why not have extra time? 3.2 seconds left. Face-off will happen. Swatted free. 1 second. And we're going overtime. We are going to overtime. So we'll take a quick break, come back for the extra frame here. 12-all after 4 quarters. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV.
I think what Chewy's trying to say is come join us Friday, March 3rd at 7:30 at the Air Canada Centre for Star Wars night.
Overtime, ladies and gentlemen. 12 all. Andy McNamara alongside Brian Shanahan here. First place on the line between the Rock and the Georgia Swarm. The next team that scores will have the best record in the NLL. Yeah, Bradley Cree for Toronto, Jordan McIntosh for the Georgia Swarm taking the face-off. Two of the best in the business. Shoulder to shoulder in this scrum. Sudden death, next goal wins.
Well, Toronto called timeout in their first possession.
Try to set something up. So a designed play.
Keep in mind, the majority of times these overtimes end within the first couple of minutes.
Right. Well, especially with these two teams, how
Oh,
they
yeah.
can score at a moment's notice. What a game we have seen. We've had shorthanded goals, power play goals, diving goals, behind the back beauties, just about everything.
It's been everything we were hoping for this game.
Shannon, you can make a week's worth of highlights out of this game alone.
No, absolutely.
And the other game underway right now on NLL TV, New England and Buffalo. New England up 14-11 late in the fourth. Toronto back in action, 7:30 tomorrow in Rochester.
Yeah, keep in mind, they
still got to play.
They're probably jumping on a bus right after this game, driving to Rochester.
Also on Saturday.
Not on their minds now.
Colorado and Saskatchewan, Vancouver and Calgary, and 2 games Sunday. Play blown in. Schreiber with the ball. Schreiber puts his shoulder down, gets rid of it, and Poulin with a key save, a game-saving save.
Oh, George is going to pull their take their timeout too.
I'll say, all right, you designed a play, we'll do the same. Other action Sunday, Buffalo in New England. So it'll be the second game of their home and home, and then Rochester against Georgia. So how about this for Rochester, Shandy? They got to play the Rock tomorrow, so they're waiting for Toronto, 7:30 start. Then they got to fly down to Georgia for a 6:05 game on Sunday.
Yeah, at least you could say with Rochester, Georgia, Toronto, each one of them playing 2 games this weekend, and they're each playing against each other.
Right, and then New England and Buffalo going toe-to-toe. So Buffalo,
Buffalo lost at home again.
Lose.
You got
Wow.
well, it's not over yet, but as you said, 14-11. That was the last minute of the game.
So 1-5. New England Black Wolves improved to 3-4. Whoever wins this will take first in the East. Georgia currently at 5-1. Toronto 4-1. Swarm ball.
And it looks like Lyle Thompson, the man with 1 goal, 8 assists, will be starting with the ball.
A 9-point night. Lyle Thompson started the evening 4th in the NL in scoring. We'll see how he finishes the weekend. Sudden death, overtime. Next goal wins. Swarm pushing. The 2 number 4s going toe-to-toe. Thompson and Gamble. Thompson gets away from Gamble. Spins back trying to draw the defense in. The Toronto D not biting. 8 to shoot. There's Powless. Powless scores! Powless! Rose got a piece of it and trickled in off the shoulder as the Swarm empty their bench and celebrate. They win it 13-12. What a game.
And these are the kind of goals that drop in for goal scores. That shot might have gone wide. Rose comes out to stop it. And I think the butt end of his stick or the tip of his shoulder actually deflected that ball into the net.
Wow. What a finish. Shanny, neither team, obviously not the Swarm because they won, but the Rock cannot hang their heads on this one.
Oh, no, not at all. No, great game. Now, the Rock have to turn the page right now and get ready for a big game tomorrow.
No time for disappointment. They had extra time. Going to have tired legs in this track meet with the Georgia Swarm, and you have Rochester sitting at home waiting for them.
Yeah, an excellent game. Great effort by both teams. Great goaltending, and boy, did we see a lot of nice goals.
What an outing for first place in the East. So now the Swarm sit at 6-1. The Rock at 4-2. So Georgia with a 1.5 game lead. Nighthawks, as we said, wait at home. They'll play the Rock tomorrow. Then fly to Georgia for Sunday. New England is now 3-4. Buffalo 1-5. And Shanny, for the Buffalo Bandits Sunday in New England, that's as close as you can get to a must-win.
I think that's a must-win. I think if they're losing that one, maybe it's time to think of blowing up and playing the season for the draft.
That could be. That could be. So the Rock waved to their fans. Shanny, final thoughts on this? On just a crazy matchup.
Well, it was the kind of game we wanted. We knew we were hoping we'd get a good game between the two top teams in the East, and we sure did. I didn't think it was going to go in a team tying it up with 3 seconds to go, winning in overtime, but that's the kind of lacrosse that you love to see.
That's how it was. So the Rock had a 6-4 lead at the half. Swarm came back, but a back-and-forth affair, and we saw so many highlights. My goodness. Well, that was a fun one, folks. So thank you very much for letting us into your homes. Remember, lots of action on NLL TV over the weekend. 3 games tomorrow starting at 7:30. Toronto at Rochester, Colorado at Saskatchewan at 8:30. Vancouver into Calgary at 9. Then 2 games Sunday, Buffalo, New England, and Rochester, Georgia. So for Sean and Shanny, I'm Andy McNamara. You've been listening and watching the National Lacrosse League on NLL TV. The Rock fall in overtime to the Georgia Swarm, 13-12. Good night, Toronto.